everybody, how are we all doing? So, I am here. We are on, at the moment, Way of the Hunter. Now, there is two games I've been playing recently, where I've been doing little compilations. And I've been asked recently, how do I rate this game, The Way of the Hunter, compared to Call of the Wild, Hunter Call of the Wild? Well, there's a way I'm going to do that, and that's by putting them head to head. So in this video, in this episode, I'm going to be going over the features of the games, just giving you a short demonstration, and I'm going to say how I feel about it, because that's the most important thing. I mean, I can't tell you how I rate it without going over it in detail. So this is The Hunter Call of the Wild versus The Way of the Hunter. So for The Way of the Hunter, we'll start with. Now, you have a good shop where you have a few different weapons. There's really only two makes I've noticed, and there's Steyr and Remington. This is one of the base game guns you get. You get Grandpa's old rifle stop, free of charge. The one I've been using at the moment more than anything is the Remington 700, because it's a really good gun. You get shotguns and you get crossbows as well, so that's not too bad. You have a fair array, but not extreme. Now, with gear, you do have the binoculars, and you do have coolers. There is one problem with the coolers I've noticed recently, and I'll explain very shortly. Attachments. These attachments are mainly for the sniper rifles, or hunting rifles should I say, along with the crossbow sights. There's no attachments as far as I'm aware for the shotguns. They do have various different ways about them. Vehicles wise, there's a few. There's been a recent free DLC where you can buy a different vehicle, but to be perfectly honest with you, I don't really see the point in that. One thing I like about this game, though, Way of the Hunter, is the boundaries, which we're going to check out in a minute. It's the fact that you have to have specific permits to walk into and shoot in certain areas. There's two maps here for base game. There is a third one as a DLC if you wish to get it. I haven't got that just yet, but I do plan on getting it eventually. Storage, let's take a little quick look. First of all, you've got the easy way. As you can see, I've got other rifles that are waiting here. Primary is currently set as the Remington 700. All you have to do to equip it, though, is just go over to the item and just press equip, and that will put the weapon in. It's the same for the attachments that come with it. So we'll go back on to the 700. I'm going to click equip, and that should equip the scope if you've used it last on that weapon. Secondary weapon, you can also put on there another rifle if you wish to, but I've got a shotgun for that for the moment. Gear has 3 slots, and I don't understand that because there's only 2 sets of binoculars in the game at the moment. As you can see, we've got the basis one. This is the basic one, and then you have one that you can go and look out with. So really having 3 slots, I don't see the point unless they're going to add an extra something to it later. Callers, you only get 3 that you can have at a time, which there's no point with really. You know, I'd put a 4th one in there rather than a 3rd slot for equipment. Resting wise, you could sleep via the computer, or you can do it by the bed next to us. You can come in here as well and recall your vehicles. As you can see, we're going into sleep mode, so I've changed the time round. You do also have this objectives button, which is good on the computer. The objectives tells you what you need to do for a specific mission to improve whatever the plan is, and they do come up with information on where to hunt. In the encyclopedia, you've got a nice little list of animals around, and as well a nice little list of where you can find these animals at specific times. Now, going on the map, which is quite easy to do, all you need to do is click the show need zones, and it will show you where those need zones are for that specific animal. So then you just go to the encyclopedia and you'll find a bit more information there. Now, for the whale hunter, tracking your prey on this game can be a little tricky. You do get these binoculars, which are your base game ones, but you can't zoom in on it. It is a case of they're there, you can still see, but you can't zoom in, which is a bit of a shame, really, but then it gives you something to work for to get the later upgrades. Ambient sound is rather nice, so I do quite like the ambience of this game. As you can now see, we are literally currently looking through the binoculars at an animal ahead of us. It is a deer, a mole deer, and as you can see, I've just been able to put down a marker to state where it is. Now, the best thing to do when you're tracking your prey on this game is to keep an eye on your surroundings. Anything and everything can scare your prey on this game. Get yourself, I'd say, about 300 meters. You might be able to dare it a bit further, but make sure you're crouched as you do it, because they will see you a mile off. Be careful, top in the bottom right corner as well, you'll see an arrow. That's telling us where the wind direction is. Now, the animals do move, of course, so the best thing to do with this is to keep changing the marker, because then you'll know where that animal is. It will move as you're getting closer. So we're now at 235 meters away. So, 220 there, because it's now moving, as you can see. So we're going to keep changing that as we go. I'm going to pull out the gun in a minute, and we're going to be aiming down the rifle scope. I think there's some more animals in there. Yeah, there is, just there, which we missed a little bit ago, but let's just hope it doesn't. It's not spooked that one ahead, which is surprising. I'm a bit surprised at that. Usually it does spook them. So we're going to go a bit further inwards towards it. It's no longer at 207 meters away. Let's see what it is now. 200. So yeah, that's why it pays to keep an eye on your surroundings, and to keep that updated. So keep your scope up, keep your binoculars up, keep looking through it, and only change your binoculars really when you are getting close. It's important to get a good shot on this game, because the tracking is a little difficult. Now, what you want to do is, in the bottom left corner, you will see Hunter Sense. Make sure that's activated. When we're looking at this animal blood, it has air bubbles. It was a good shot. And now with the Hunter Sense on, I can see where the blood trails are. You can see the blood trails without the Hunter Sense, but it is difficult in this game. What it is, big drops of blood, and then the smaller ones, where that's aiming is where the animal went. So it's now a case of tracking down. As you can see, there's quite a bit of blood, quite a few droplets. So I don't think it's going to be very far before we find it. There is one thing that I will come up with as well, the need zones. As you can see, you can analyse the ground as you go, which gives you your need zones. That's very important to play around with. So I mean, the Hunter Sense is very good to have on all the time. You will have to unlock the ability to walk with the Hunter Sense. If you haven't unlocked that, it will just stay off. Now, as you can see, there is audio cues that do appear, sound analysis, which state where certain animals are in certain. It's a radius. It's not exact, but it is saying it's in these locations. Watch yourself as you go. One there, calm. I'm not going to bother chasing these ones down, because we've done the kill, or done the shot for this one. It's a good shot, and I reckon that this deer is dead somewhere. So we're going to find that. And once we've found that, we will then obviously go on the next spot. obviously, one good tip, make sure you reload your gun after use. You don't want to be walking along and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you see something, go to take the shot. And it has happened to me a few times, but I forgot to reload. And in doing that, see, look, this is good. Urine analysis. And we'll explain the other one very shortly anyway. So you've got poo on here, you've got urine, so all these little tracks, if they walk through, oh, hang on, yep. See the yellow little corn? Now that shows where the animal is. So as you can see, she is dead. He is dead, should I say. Found him. And that was a pretty good shot. Left lung, right lung, flesh, bone, and artery all taken out. So, and it does, what I do like about this, it does give you a nice little analysis of where the bullet went through the trajectory, so you can see exactly how much damage you have done to that animal. You can sell it, or you can taxidermy it. Your choice on what you do with it. So there we go, we've claimed a kill for that one. And wasn't too difficult to track, but that's only because we managed to get the good shot on it. Like I said, it can be difficult if you don't get a good shot. You could end up running halfway across the map before you find another blood droplet if you hit a bad shot. Now we're currently up in a guard post at the moment. I'm going to try and use the coolers. There is one thing that I've noticed with this game, and I don't know if it's because I'm doing it wrong or what, but the coolers, I've noticed they don't seem to be that brilliant on this game. Whether it's just an error in the coding or whichever.
One eternity later.
So this is a densely populated area for deer. What I did do before we started this bit, I did sleep through the night again to get it to reset. It's been an hour in game. So we are on Hunter Call the World now, so we're going to be having a little look at this one. Now, as you can see, there is quite a bit of difference. There is a slight difference in terms of how vibrant it is compared to the other game. You do have a DLC dog if you've got the DLC for it, and it does pay to keep the dog happy because it does improve its ability to move around and do whichever. Now you do have a weapons cache just here, a bit like in Way of the Hunter, but the difference is Hunter Call the Wild, you do have to buy your ammo. So one other thing though, you do have a lot more weapons in Hunter Call the Wild. As you can see here, a lot more. I mean, they're not necessarily the real names of the weapons itself. Like, for example, I'm currently using a Winchester, but it's called a Whitlock on here. You do start with this, which is a Ranger 243, and I do have a few other guns. You have bows in here, which is good to a degree. You do also have pistols, which I like. So now for the attachments and so forth, it's similar in fashion to Whale Hunter, and you do have a nice little wheel where you can put all your equipment, but it's up to you what equipment you put in this wheel, as opposed to the other one where it's specific. Another thing with this, you do have night vision on this game, and you do have 3 ATVs to choose from. So we're going to go here in the skills, so you can see there is skills you can improve in. There is skills that you do get in the way of a hunter as well. So, but you're more choosing on this game what you can pick and what you can spend your improvement points on. There is an area here, just here you can find these darted around the map. These are your little huts. You have to claim them, and you can sleep through the night, but you can only sleep through the night here, or you can sleep through the night in a tent. But you've got to be at one of these, really, like I said, for it. Now we're currently in one of the tents. As you can see, it's got a sleeping area in the tent, and it does have a little weapons cache. You can sleep in here as well, so it does make life a lot easier. Just grab one of these, stick it in your backpack, and walking around with it. You do get cues as well every so often to try and help you. You can place waypoints down just like you do on the way of the hunter, and it does have the need zones that come up direct here. And the best thing about this one, it also tells you in the need zones when they're active. This little tool is good because it cancels out your scent, so spray yourself with it, and then even if you're walking towards the wind direction, animals won't be able to sense you. So, or in theory, they shouldn't be able to sense you. So, binoculars, these are base game ones, and you can zoom in and you can zoom out, which is good. You've got 3 levels of zoom on it. That's good because sometimes they can be quite far out. But there is a good little thing with these binoculars for this game, which I do like. Let's try and get on over here. I mean, moving is quite slow in this game compared to the way of the hunter, but then it's more, well, you're not going to be tearing around on a real hunt, are you? You're not going to be running around too much. You would scare the animals, definitely. We're going towards here, one of the need zones, which also shows up on the HUD. And the dog comes with you, it moves with you at the same time as you're moving, so that's good as well, so you'll never lose your dog. As you can see, there is visual cues that you get as well, which do appear, and they do come up as a nice bright thing, so you're not going to miss them. You can change the colour if you wish to. You can set it to colourblind mode, so it does help you. It does help with the tracking side of things. Tracking is much easier on this game as well, which we will go over in a moment. So you'll be able to see exactly what we do, because we will go and hunt an animal very shortly. And it's quite a beautiful game. There's quite a few maps at the moment for this one as well. This is just base game Leighton Lakes, which I am using just like base game in the way of a hunter. So this is what we got now. I've got this come up, and as you can see, how to actually spot your animal. Pull up the binoculars, and you can activate it, and you can see exactly where it is. We're going to take a shot in a minute once it's getting in the right direction. It's not quite in its right. Well, not for me anyway. It's not so hard to track animals on this game either, because you generally know where they're going in terms of their visual cues. Here we go, we've got a perfect shot. If I can get it in there, ready. And she's down. She's going to run off. Yep. Another shot into her. Don't know if that one connected though, but we will find out. Let's go to her now. And the good thing about having the dog, it does help. If you don't have the DLC with the dog, you can still track quite easily, but the dog definitely helps. I'm going to place a marker here to say where I was, so if I lose it, then I'll come back to the spot and I'll know where to find it. So as you can see, examine the tracks. Comes up nice and bright so you can see exactly where they are. Good thing is as well, the dog does not scare away the prey. It can get a bit annoying, I will be honest with you, because sometimes if you're not careful with the dog, it may get in your way when you're trying to shoot, and if it does that, you know. Okay, vital organs are hit, good. So I'm going to send out Trixie, the dog, and she's going to track based on blood. So we're going to go off in the direction of where the blood is. So there's the blood there. It now gives you a coroner to the direction of where it's run. So we're going to follow that, and we're going to try and find our prey. Hopefully, but it should kill it. As you can see, it gives you fresh surface impressions as well. Still trying to find it. And there she is, and we can see her just there. Alright, it says claimer. Okay, so right lung and flesh. Now, it does give you a mini analysis of how it happened, what I did, but it's not as in depth as the Whaler Hunters version of it. I do like the Whaler Hunters version of it, where you're seeing the trajectory of the bullet going through. Coolers on this game do actually work. They are a godsend in some places. Now, as you can see here on the map, you'll see that this area has turned red. That means that I've had a kill within that area. The darker the red, the more kills you've had in that area, and the animals get a bit more skittish, so you won't find as many animals in that area. So, my thoughts. Both games are brilliant. With the question, how do I rate the game, as opposed to from one to the other, they're both brilliant games. I'm not going to knock them. There is good points and bad points to both. And this is just my opinion. I'm just voicing my opinion. You're welcome to have your own opinions. You can think I'm wrong, you can think I'm right. It's completely your choice. I think it's up to the individual on how they feel. I love both games. I can't really say what one's better out of the other because they've both got good and bad points. But that's just me. I mean, you know, if I was to push it and go, right, okay, well, I'll go with Hunter Call of the Wild because it's easy to track, but I'll go with Whaler Hunter by the analysis that it gives. So, but then Hunter Call of the Wild has callers that work. Whaler Hunter callers don't seem to be very effective. It's all up to the person. It's all up to the individual. So I hope this has helped, and I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. I will be bringing out new episodes of Whaler Hunter and Hunter Call of the Wild compilations. Do stick around for to have a little watch of them. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Hit the like button, and as well, don't forget to hit that bell and leave a comment below. If you hit the bell, it will remind you whenever I go live or whenever I am dropping a video. So God bless you, stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.